is gonna save our season? And the answer is absolutely not. Golden State Warriors against the Cleveland Cavaliers. We've had a horrible season thus far. We've had an even worse NBA playoffs all across the board. And I believe this took place starting from the NBA Finals of last year. If you recall, in the NBA Finals last year, every single game was a double-digit blowout except for Game 7. So we didn't really get solid basketball until the 7th game where everything was left on the court. Even then, there were suspensions and different random things. But ever since that Finals of last year, we haven't necessarily got the basketball that we've been ran for, even in the regular season. At least last year in the regular season, Golden State went 73-9. Give us something to look forward to. In the NBA Finals the year before that, the Golden State Warriors and Cleveland Cavaliers played 3 overtime games. And Kevin Love and Kyrie went down, but they had 3 overtime games. Last year's finals, all double-digit blowouts. You look at this year's playoffs, Golden State swept through the entire Western Conference, due to injury and other things. And the Cleveland Cavaliers almost swept through. They only lost 1 game, and that was an unlucky bounce. Last year's playoffs, Golden State was down 3-1, and it was a crazy comeback. And the reason why it was a crazy comeback because nobody got suspended, nobody really was injured besides Stephen Curry, and the Warriors were able to come back, and went to a crazy Game 7. And if you don't remember, the Oklahoma City Thunder had the lead in that Game 7 for I believe it was the whole first half. So, we had nice playoffs, but this season and this playoffs has been awful. In the past, we've had better playoffs, we had better finals matchups. And not in terms of matchups, but play overtime games, crazy stuff, not fluky stuff, not people get suspended. So will this NBA Finals save all of that foolishness that we witnessed this season? We witnessed a Megatron just tearing through teams. We witnessed Optimus Prime on the East Coast just tearing through teams. Is this going to save our season? And the answer is absolutely not. Absolutely not. The NBA is trying to make this an epic 7-game series like it was last year. But if you can necessarily wrap your head around this, the more you anticipate something, the more it kind of lets you down. You ever been a kid, you're waiting for your Power Wheels, and your mom says, hey, I got you a bike. And you're like, okay, yeah, can't wait to get on my bike. And then you come home, it's not a brand new bike, it's a used bike. Or it's not a Power Wheels like you thought. It was like a toy car that they got, at a store for $10 or $7 or whatever the case is. The NBA Finals is going to be competitive, but it's not going to be this whole epic clash how everybody's predicting. Even if it is an epic clash, that doesn't make up for all of the investment that these fans have put into the game, the true fans. And this league has turned in the interest of the fair weather fan, which is, when it's all good, when things are going good, they'll watch. LeBron's playing, I'll watch. Kevin Durant is playing, I'll watch. Nobody else is watching Boston. They're not watching the Wizards. Nobody's watching the Celtics really play. Nobody knows anything about any other teams besides the Cavs. And the Warriors. And that is basically the whole story of the NBA season. All we've been talking about is the Cavs and the Warriors. Never really been talking about anybody else. Not even about the San Antonio Spurs, who won 60 games without Tim Duncan. It's just even with James Harden's MVP and everything, MVP run, nobody thought Houston was really a threat. It's just sad, man. It's just sad, and that's not going to save it, because what people are going to do and fans are going to do, if these two juggernauts still remain, all they're going to do is just wait till the NBA Finals every year and not watch the whole regular season. And it's not going to look good for the NBA, because their ratings across the board are going to go down besides the NBA Finals, and a business cannot sustain itself based on one, event, and not every other event being just as big. If you watch the NFL playoffs, the championship games or the conference games, they're just as big as almost as the Super Bowl game. So the Super Bowl is huge But the regular season, every game counts for something. And then once you get to the playoffs, those are huge. Everything counts. But for the NBA playoffs, it's just been awful. The regular season has been awful, and now we're supposed to get a great NBA Finals. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. If consistently you've been getting mediocre, what do you expect to get more of? Mediocrity. It's this, and that's what the NBA Finals is basically gonna be. I know people say it's a star-studded NBA Finals. Everybody's hype and everything like that. LeBron James against Kevin Durant and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it probably won't even come down to those two. You know, it's at the end of the day, it's a game of basketball. It's not necessarily about legacy, this, that, and the third. Who can sustain themselves the longest? Which super team can sustain themselves the longest? They're already there. The narrative is past the games. Matter of fact, people aren't even really talking about the X's and O's anymore. They're talking about legacies. They're talking about if somebody loses, what does this mean next year? We haven't even played one game yet. So this is what it's becoming. It's becoming more of like a soap opera, more of like a future predictions. It's not really about the game, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this finals is not gonna save the season, and the only way it could possibly do it is if they played 7 games. Every single game is overtime game. That's the only way that it can save the season. Other than that, it's not gonna save the season because the season was so terrible. And this whole thing about legacy talk, and these guys aren't even retired. LeBron's not retired yet. KD's not retired yet. Steph's not retired yet. All we talk about is legacy. Like, these guys, this is their last finals. This is their third one in. This is, Durant's first one. This is Curry's third one in. So it's ridiculous. But like I said before, it's not gonna save it. If you think it's gonna be a savior, the NBA Finals saves everything, saves the day, pack that bag and throw it in the trash.